planting trees periodically in commemoration of the day, which falls tomorrow on the 25th of September.
Now, scientists are warning that climate change will exacerbate the prevalence of neglected tropical diseases like Leishmaniasis, I beg your pardon, against an already overwhelmed public health system. Researchers at the Cambridge Center for Biotechnology Research and Development say that changing weather patterns have seen their female sandfly, which is resident in South Sudan, populate at a very fast rate here in Kenya. As a result, outbreaks of cutaneous of the illness are on the rise in the arid and semi-arid parts of the country. Bridget Ngana now with that report.
On the border of Nakuru and Nyandarua lies Gitare village, housed on the rocky hills and thickets on the highlands of Gilgil sub-county. Beyond the serenity and fertility of this environment, an insect has been wreaking havoc on the lives of residents. The female sandfly, whose bite leaves flesh-eating parasites under the skin, is leaving victims with lifelong scars. Gitare is in Morendat ward, one of the 2 wards affected by cutaneous Leishmaniasis, a neglected tropical disease. Elementaita is the other ward where cases of Leishmaniasis have been reported, but public health officials here are concerned that the disease is now spreading beyond the borders of the 2 wards.
Gilgil town also is the town, the marketplace for people around. So you also look at the area. There are bush areas. Of course, we have these people who burn charcoal from the forest. They're coming back home. Number one, I would attribute the spread to some poverty level. We have to know that the sandfly likes those bush areas, and these poor people are living in mud houses where the sandfly has places where it can live. The spread is about the normal movement of to and fro the marketplace and also schools. We have the issue of schools. Once one people is infected in a school, we are finding that several are getting infected.
This dispensary in Gitare is one of the health facilities where Leishmaniasis patients get treatment. Here, community health volunteers have assembled before heading out for households in this village, as the County Department of Public Health conducts indoor residual spraying of houses where cutaneous Leishmaniasis has been reported. The bushy, rocky landscape provides the perfect conditions for the sandfly to breed in multitudes. The community health volunteers are vital in today's activity, in that they are the gateway to the affected homes.
A community health volunteer comes from that particular village, what we call the Daktari Mashinani. So this lady or this gentleman is conversant with all the households. They are allowed to enter into the households. They also do one-on-one sensitization. So we are confident that their role is really helping us.
When it comes to cutaneous Leishmaniasis, indoor residual spraying is the first line of defense of preventing this disease in the first place, and that is why community health volunteers are very key in ensuring that households where this disease has been reported get to be sprayed. This gives them a protection of about 4 months, and this activity can be done at least 4 times in a year.
Why we are calling it IRS? Once we do it indoors, the residual part of it takes several months while still the insecticide is on the walls, the sprayed areas. So we are sure every sandfly that will land on that sprayed wall will die. That one will help us to reduce the population of the sandflies. We've been doing it quarterly, depending on the funding. At times we lack the funds, but this time around, the county government of Nakuru, in collaboration with some partners, got some retro funds.
In this homestead, we head for Tabitha Njeri's home. Her daughter has been bitten a few times by the sandflies and is receiving treatment. Community health volunteers are here to spray the home, but have noticed a new infection on Njeri's daughter's face. Tabitha says she first used traditional medicine to treat the itchy sores on her daughter's skin. Health workers say this action often delays treatment, allowing the parasites to cause serious damage to the skin.
Naonaga watu wameumwa, lakini huyu nilimwona alitoka hutu tudhundo hivi sasa akafanya nini? Akauma hivi. Mimi nilikuwa nampaka tumajani hivi. Lakini sijui niliambilia ati huyu daktari huyu Pastor Buru alikuja akasema ati watu wanakujaga hapa kanisa ya Joy. Sasa nikampeleka akazie mashindano.
In 2021, NTV highlighted the burden of this disease among Gilgil residents, with dermatologists warning that the Leishmania parasite had developed resistance to the current treatment, which is administered by injecting sodium stibogluconate on the affected area. These injections are usually painful and most patients fall off treatment.
This cutaneous leishmaniasis is not witchcraft. It is not contagious. It is not something you'll get maybe from contact. It is only through the bite of the phlebotomine female sandfly. The health-seeking behavior of our people is very poor. So initially why it has to spread is that most people thought it's a fungal infection. So by the time people were coming to know what it is, of course after tests were done and it was known, many people were infected. Even as I talk, I'm well aware that in the whole of Gilgil sub-county, not everybody still knows that cutaneous leishmaniasis is there, because we have not done that 100% sensitization.
At the moment, there are no alternatives to treating cutaneous leishmaniasis apart from directly injecting the affected area. Spraying, however, has helped control the spread of the parasites. For close to 4 decades, the Kenya Medical Research Institute has been studying the sandfly in an effort to cut the reproductive cycle of the insect. Already scientists here have noticed a new species of the sandfly in the country and are linking it to climate change.
We now have some of the species that are also coming into the country, like what we'd call Phlebotomas Orientalis. In South Sudan, it causes a lot of what we call now the visceral leishmaniasis. Visceral leishmaniasis is one that affects the liver, spleen, and the bone marrow, and which is mostly fatal. And we realize that it's breeding in soil cracks. And so when you're having the rainy periods and these areas are hot, and that makes the area humid, and so it actually encourages breeding of these sandflies. And so we find that some of the times that the cases are also increasing.
The Center for Biotechnology Research was established 3 years ago to complement Leishmaniasis research. This department pioneers stem cell research in the country. Here, scientists are working to find a less painful solution to treating Leishmaniasis patients. According to the Mayo Clinic, stem cells are the body's raw materials. These are cells from which all other cells with specialized functions are generated. Under the right conditions in the body or a laboratory, stem cells divide to form more cells called daughter cells.
When it comes to these conditions like Leishmania disease, where we have the parasite causing a lot of harm and creating wounds that are difficult to heal, and the treatment that is there is also very painful. We are exploring stem cells for management of this disease so that it becomes easier for the patients, and also managing the wounds, healing the wounds without scarring. Okay? And maybe also likelihood of taking a shorter time for the healing process. Once this breakthrough research comes through and we see the potential to manage this disease, then it will involve all stakeholders.
According to Dr. Dorcas Washira, the lead on this research, they have made progress in studying the behavior of the Leishmania parasite when treated with stem cells, and hopefully they will commence trials on humans soon.
Now the next thing that we are looking at is now getting the stem cells from, from human, and probably looking at the rich sources of stem cells in humans are the cord blood, and also probably the other sources, related sources. But we also ask for funding because yes, it is expensive. Running some of these experiments is not easy. The reagents are very expensive. They are not in the market. We have to ship them from outside the country where some of this work is being done. So we require a lot of funding for us to move forward.
Researchers are also calling for a different approach in dealing with this neglected tropical disease.
And so we learned that because of the different kinds of sandflies, the changes, the breeding, different breeding status, that we need to integrate ways of controlling this vector. We need to go beyond the treated nets so that you can also be able to tell what kind of cultural practices do people have out there. Out there, when it's very hot, people rest outdoors, and this is where they get bit by the sandflies. And so we realize that there's need of using integrated methods, thinking beyond just the normal way of controlling these sandflies. And by cutting that cycle, the life cycle of this Leishmaniasis, also by controlling the vector, will be a way of controlling the disease.
So we are looking at stem cells and their use in regenerative medicine. And regenerative medicine basically means that a part of the cells of the tissues or the organs of the body, or a full organ can regenerate after disease or injury. For example, diabetic foot ulcers, okay, still on wood, we see whether that can help in managing and regenerating, okay, the injured part. Maybe possibility in the future, regenerating organs that are failing because of diseases like cancers.
Scientists are warning that the recent outbreak of cutaneous leishmaniasis in northern Kenya is a signal that this disease may affect many more as climate change continues to change the behavior of vectors like the sandfly in this case.
I know there's a time we had an outbreak in Marsabit. We have in Baringo, we've been having where we have both visceral and cutaneous leishmaniasis. We've been having cases in Tharaka Nithi, which was also an outbreak the other day. We have in Wajir, we have in Sekuru area, Kipipiri, Gilgil. Baringo is also a very common area, Chemolingot, Kacheliba. So it is important that even our government is aware that we have cutaneous leishmaniasis cases that are also occurring currently in areas that were not occurring before, and now they are spreading out.
But until the human trials for stem cell treatment in Leishmaniasis are done, public health officials in Gilgil will continue sensitizing residents of this disease. And when their tight budget allows, some homes will get sprayed to keep the sandflies away. Bridget Ngana, NTV, Nakuru.
Some sad reality